Sea of Thieves is an open world sandbox game where, as long as you don't do anything bannable, you can pretty much do what you want. Everyone gets to live by their code. Do you fight everyone? Do you make friends? Or is it just a case of seeing how the session goes? The most interesting part of this is seeing players align themselves with certain factions because of how they play the game. Even more interesting is that Rare have created some morally grey factions. As an avid Reaper and a believer in true piracy, I'll try to keep this as informative and unbiased as possible, with some examples from the story to support these views. So let's dive into the absolutely bizarre world of Sea of Thieves morality. So what are Athena's fortune really about? What is it that they believe in? Athena's fortune believes in preserving the pirate's life and protecting the Sea of Thieves from tyranny and destruction. I would argue they're fairly moderate in their aims, but not as pure as everyone thinks. There's checks and balances when it comes to each faction. Originally, the Pirate Lord, before he was the Pirate Lord, wished to make the Sea of Thieves a haven for pirates. The outside world had eventually been taken over by merchants, trading companies, and the Grand Maritime Union. When an untouched part of the map was rediscovered by him, the Sea of Thieves came into existence as we know it. As the location of the Sea of Thieves was shared amongst other pirates, the seas became a wild frontier of sorts, with pirates plundering to their heart's content and stealing from one another. However, as the Pirate Lord journeyed throughout the Sea of Thieves, he realised there was more to it than treasure and freedom. A magic resides here that is unlike anything else in the outside world, a magic that can be dangerous or used as a powerful aid. When he realised this, he locked away all his valuables in cursed chests and offered the other pirates on the seas a deal. They can swear fealty to his rule and sail as an alliance, in turn getting access to his spoils and anything else they found in their travels. This led to many denying his offer, with Greymarrow in particular being insulted by this, and it also resulted in his crewmate Rathbone betraying him and taking the keys for himself. Even more so, it allowed for the trading companies to move to the Sea of Thieves. The Pirate Lord's intentions were noble. In a sense, it was to protect the pirates from themselves, with the Gold Hoarder being testament to that, or even Flameheart is another example. But for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The problem with Ramsey is that he wanted to force his ideals on everyone else. When the Sea of Thieves was envisioned as a pirate paradise for everyone, it just made the Sea of Thieves like the outside world, just with magic involved. In the current Sea of Thieves era, several trading companies have a grip of the commerce that flows through them. Most of the gold is controlled by 6 factions. In turn, the richest people in the Sea of Thieves aren't pirates, but the Gold Hoarders, Order of Souls, Merchant Alliance, and even the Hunter's Call. The pirates play fetch and get a raw end of the deal, regardless of where they go. Athena's fortune presides over the companies, asking pirates to gain reputation with them before they're considered legendary pirates. They are there to police the trading companies as the Pirate Lord has struck deals with them. It's an oxymoron, because if Ramsey was to oust them, he'd be no better than the Reaper's bones, but if he doesn't do anything, it allows the trading companies to become too powerful and people to rise up against him. The ferryman is also aligned with the forces of Athena's fortune, but gets to pick and choose who has access to eternal life. The enemies of the Pirate Lord, skeletons, and other undesirables are not allowed back to the land of the living without his say-so. It's problematic because you can enforce your rule by excluding people just in the same way Reapers will do it with binding souls. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Freedom is what he desires, but too much freedom can lead to bad things. He's two sides of the very same coin when compared to Flameheart and his Reapers. The Reaper's Bones are definitely the most misunderstood group in Sea of Thieves. The game hasn't done the best job of arguing their motives, particularly so when you're often forced to side with the good guys. The Reaper's Bones are not the good guys, by the way, but they do represent a reactionary force as a result of the Sea of Thieves being eroded. The Reaper's Bones would like to see the Sea of Thieves return to the wild frontier it once was. They see the trading companies as weak and exploitative, hoarding the wealth and controlling the Sea of Thieves. They want freedom to return, with all the bad things recognised by the Pirate Lord. You can be free to take whatever you want, you just have to be strong enough to take it. It's a pretty classic pirate outlook, and leans on the trope of pirates being cutthroats. The problem with this viewpoint is that it heavily encourages violence, and that's how the Reapers inevitably spread their aims. This all stems from their leader, Captain Flameheart. Flameheart's viewpoint is that he should be king of the Sea of Thieves, and the one rule you have to follow is that there are no rules, which is also his rule. His issue is that his viewpoint is the only viewpoint that should be tolerated. His view is equally paradoxical because freedom can only exist in the way he views freedom. Pushing an opinion as universal truth is the opposite of freedom. Initially, Flameheart didn't really wish to conquer the Sea of Thieves. He was initially just interested in fighting, winning, and plundering. You know, standard pirate activities. Flameheart was really no different from a young Ramsay. Flameheart's problem got worse when he became cursed. See, the skeleton curse sees people become the pirate they were meant to be and exaggerates their characteristics. Flameheart became a fiery skeleton because his heart burned with rage whenever he saw the Grand Maritime Union. As he viewed strength as the most important characteristic, that's what he was blessed with. It ends up becoming an insatiable thrill for battle and domination. The stronger his opponents, the better. This is why we see him attack the Pirate Lord, something no one would dare to do because of the alliance. That view is why the skeleton curse is a blessing. You don't need to eat, drink, or sleep. You can keep on going forever. In the Heart of Fire novel, we also learn about the powers it can grant a skeleton lord, but that's a story for another time. The Reapers do not believe pirates should work for the trading companies, as fetching treasure or chasing pigs is not what pirates do. They fight, they kill, they plunder, and they consume until there's nothing left. You can have freedom, but you have to rely on you and your crew for security. Freedom, with all its dangers, is the only way to live the pirate life. Now you can see why both viewpoints are so similar and contradict themselves. The Dark Brethren are the bad guys for anyone who really likes the eternal life aspect of the Sea of Thieves. The Brethren were made up of several people who had their lives ruined by the promises of the pirate's life, making them the most tragic faction. Davy Jones was once a pirate, charged by the goddess Calypso to ferry those lost at sea to the afterlife. In turn, she would wait for him at port, as Jones could only set foot on land every 10 years. As he loved her, he accepted this duty. After 10 years, he sailed to port to find Calypso was not there. Heartbroken, he had forsaken his duty and instead recruited sailors to stall their trip to the afterlife. The pirate life had caused him endless misery. He cut out his heart and placed it in a chest to symbolise this. As the Flying Dutchman needs a captain, he is unable to die unless his heart is stabbed. The gold hoarder was simply destroyed by his own greed, but his time as a pirate ended up with him being consumed by the skeleton curse. As a skeleton lord, his greed is insatiable, no matter how rich he becomes, even to the point of him being tortured by great treasures in the Sea of the Damned. The point of this is, all their members have been betrayed by freedom, or prosperity, or adventure, resulting in afflictions, loneliness, or insatiable lust. Despite their mistakes made, they blame the allure of the pirate's life for their fate and seek to end it. They attempted this once before by seeking to destroy the ferryman and installing Davy Jones in his place, controlling who can come back from the dead. Their true aims are actually shrouded in mystery, as they are being controlled by the captain, a hidden figure who is marooned on an island by Captain Flameheart. His motives are unclear, but he has very much been a victim of the pirate's life. A skeleton lord like the others, he has been pulling the strings from behind the curtain. He could be benevolent or malevolent, but we know he seeks some form of control over the Sea of Thieves. They stand in direct opposition to both of the other factions. They do not care about their aims, just that they want to see the pirate's life destroyed. As much as Athena's fortune and the Reaper's bones have flaws in their arguments, but each outcome is better than the end of piracy as we know it. Even if they do come off sympathetic, the Brethren's aims cannot be taken lightly. But yeah, now you're all clued up on the checks and balances of each faction's aims. Now, hearing all of that, who do you support out of these three factions? Let me know down in the comments below. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.